Oh, all right. So let's just shake ourselves out just a little bit. A gentle wiggle of releasing and relieving any tension. Taking a few deep breaths to sort of ground ourselves into the space where we are. Knowing that we are fully protected in the work and the ritual and the ceremony we're going to do today. And giving permission for our teams, our divine family members, our angelic realm, all those unseen beings that work with us, all of our elders that love us and have our back, invite them all in. And know that together we're intersected and interconnected into this web of this glorious life, which I am more and more grateful for every day. So with that, why don't we go around and say where we are and what's up and why you're here. Tell me what makes this ritual of the matriarch so appealing to you, if you have any questions before we start, ask. I'm Cinda, and I'm just south of Portland in Westland, Oregon, and I am just very excited. This is one of my most favorite rituals, and I'll go into the history of this ritual right before we start, and I'll give you some examples of what's happened to clients of mine after they've done this ritual. And anyway, so I will take Sharon Alexander.
Thank you, Cinda. Hello, everyone. I am Sharon in the Boulder, Colorado area. Cold and snowy today. And well, it's just your beautiful spirit, Cinda, that brought me, and Sharon's beautiful words about this ritual and how you will be guiding today. In addition to that, for me, it feels like a year to work with the energy of the ancestors, both in releasing what is no longer needed by me for my journey, and in anchoring, honoring and celebrating that which, has come before and has allowed me to be here where I am today. So I just love that you're doing this, and the timing is perfect. So thank you very much. And I am happy to be with you all, even though I haven't been with you all in such a long time, it feels like. So thank you for being so welcoming as I step back in when I can. And I will pass it on to Carol.
From one erratic attendee to another, I am also grateful for this space, even when I don't attend. So I'm in Coopville, Washington, a couple hours northwest of Seattle. I am particularly interested in this ritual, one, because I haven't done much work with my feminine predecessors in this earthly family, and there's work to be done. And second, because in another 10 days, I will be leaving for a 6-week trip, the first 3 weeks with my elder daughter and granddaughter, and the second 3 weeks with my younger daughter. So it's time I owned the matriarch position. So I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you, Cinda and everyone else. And I will tag Vajrama.
Thank you. Good to be here. Yes. Thank you, Carol. I'm here because Cinda, I've known her from some of the things I've done with Sacred Ground Academy, and I really enjoy her energy. And matriarch speaks to me because I study the matriarchal cultures. There's some still on the planet. And I believe that, I know that the women lead the way. to a livable culture. And on my land here, now that my husband died a year and a half ago, and my dog died yesterday, and the other dog died a couple years ago, and favorite goat died, and all 19 goats are rehomed, and I'm just going through, a real gutting. And I am the matriarch of this land, and it has always been meant. My husband and I always meant it to be for the I don't like the word empowerment, the blessing of women to be close to the earth, to rejuvenate, to step into our power and responsibility as planetary guides, humanity's guides. So matriarch speaks very strongly to me. I'm grateful to be here. And I will tag Arlie.
Hi, I'm Arlie in New Zealand. I'm here because I know Cinda. I know her work is very powerful. And I really wanted to participate in this ritual. I am the matriarch here. So yeah, let's do it. And I will call on Audrey.
I am Audrey and I'm in Wyoming, Pennsylvania, and I felt very drawn to participate today. I didn't know it was about the matriarch. So just gratitude that I followed my intuition and I'm here, and I hope to be here more consistently and less sporadic. So thank you. And I will tag Abby.
Hi, Abby from Anacortes, and I just feel so blessed and honored to be both part of this group and getting to listen, hear, participate in Cinda's work, which I think is amazing. And I come from a line of female ancestors who were very strong and very silent about their emotional lives. And I would say probably fairly oppressed or suppressed. I don't think they would necessarily describe themselves as oppressed, but I think suppressed by the culture and expectations of their generations. So anything to help support reclaiming that line in a healthy way for all. I'm glad to be here. And I will pass on to Sue.
Thank you, Evie. I'm Sue. I'm at Lake Goodwin, north of Seattle, Washington. And I just love Cinda's work, so I'm really happy to be here. And I think, Deborah, you're the next in line.
Deborah, I'm in Sanford, North Carolina. I'm like Audrey, I didn't realize Cinda was doing that until I was reading my emails right beforehand and trying to get in and being put on freeze and the computer, and I couldn't even do the computer to get in. So I had to come in on the phone and then come back in and keep her waiting for me. Matriarch. I like Evie, I come from a family of strong women. I have a picture of my grandmother in a covered wagon with a bow in her hair and a rifle over her shoulder. It's kind of hard. So it's just, and I guess I don't feel like we've ever, well, in the culture I grew up in, sort of really honored the matriarch. So it's very exciting to be here. So Sharon.
Hi, Sharon Raji here on Whidbey Island, Washington. And you get to see the value of having a circle that is diversely led. And so being able to be here with Cinda and her ritual is such an example of that. And I want to invite every one of you to know that when you have the inclination to be the host, we so need the diversity that you all bring. A quote comes to mind that says, just because your mother didn't end all of the family patterns of domination doesn't mean she didn't end some. And we're in a so much better position to end even more. And for more of us, for many of us, we want to end all of them for those generations of our children and great-great-grandchildren. So I'm really glad to be here with you, Cinda. Turning it back over to you.
I'm just so honored. I think this conversation started in Sue's healing class. And I think I brought up an example about this ritual, and Evie says, oh, I really love it if you were to do this for the group. And I'm like, well, I can. I do what is called the 7 days of grace. And it's 7 rituals over 7 days, specifically spread out over 7 weeks, but it sort of covers a traditional 7, what I call grace centers, and Claiming the Matriarch is day 3, where it's the solar plexus, the personal power. And it is a ritual that I created for a friend of mine. Every ritual that I've created that I sort of do on repeat because of its success, if you will, I either created for myself or created it for a peer on the spot. And then when it has this success rate to it, it's it's just something that then I realize, wow, we're on to something here. The ritual is obviously something that just comes to me, which means it's bigger than me and has a purpose. It's maybe even more important than even the two of us when it's created. In the situation where it was first created, it was a friend of mine, and she had lost her mother 10 years prior. And she was still grieving the loss of her mother, not in a deep, unhealthy way, but it was a unforeseen passing, and she was still kind of confused by it. But not only that, she was struggling in her relationship with her own children, and specifically her son was involved in a new relationship with a young woman, and that young woman's family had become more important to her son than my friend seemed. She's like, I'm losing my son to his girlfriend's family. And her son had been choosing to even spend Mother's Day with his girlfriend's mom versus his own mother. And it was killing my friend. It was just breaking her heart. And I said, and she was also struggling with her daughter a little bit. And I said, it seems to me like your family doesn't have any anchoring, doesn't have any stability, an energetic home. There's this lacking of an energetic home. Has anyone claimed the role of the matriarch after your mother had passed? And she said, oh, I can't do that. I can't do that. My mom is the ultimate matriarch, who, even though she's not here, who am I to take that over? And I said, I think you need to take that over because your children are flaying. They're fish out of water. They're having trouble breathing. There's no stability, no anchoring. They don't know where home is, so they're searching for home elsewhere. And I mean, what did I know about this except that this is just all of a sudden what became so obviously clear to me. So she said, all right, let's do it. So I created this ritual where we actually brought in the energies of the ancestors that came before her And we did this whole ritual. We anchored it in. She owned it. She owned it. It was so powerful. We had other women that were holding space for her. The very next day, her son called and said, Mom, my girlfriend and I have decided we're going to do Mother's Day with you this year. We want to take you out to dinner to your favorite restaurant. Da, 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 da. And she was so flabbergasted. A couple hours later, her daughter called her and checked in about something totally unrelated. I mean, it was instantaneous, the anchoring in, the stability. And so I have guided so many people through this ritual that has been the norm. It is an energetic ritual where we energetically own our authority as the matriarch to the family. And in doing so, we just calm everybody else down. We calm them down. Everyone goes, okay, I feel home. I can feel home. And so by claiming the matriarch, it doesn't mean you have more physical responsibility. It doesn't mean that you need to go cook for everybody or do whatever you feel the role as a matriarch is. This is an energetic ownership. This is putting your stake in the ground. This is connecting yourself to Mother Earth. This is claiming your authority to the universe and beyond. And as the ritual has evolved, it goes with this. And so I kind of want to describe this visual with you, and then I'll guide you through the ritual. You're all on mute. So I hope that you really verbalize the ritual as we go through it. I'll walk you through it, and then you guys just verbalize it. You do it in the space that you're in. And so I'm just going to walk you through, but it's multi-part, if you will. And the first visual, the main visual, is an hourglass. Okay, so when you visualize an hourglass, the upper part of the hourglass is all of these women that have come before you, all of your ancestors. And even if you're adopted, or even if you have adopted family members, this is the living, the blood, and also those who have, helped raise you or influenced your life. So above you in this hourglass are those in the unseen world. And we've already invited them in. They're already here. They're already present, and they're already here to support you. And I guarantee you, if you just want to tap into them for a moment, they're freaking celebrating this moment. They are so freaking happy because they've been waiting for this to freaking happen, and it's about time. So they are like, let's do this. I mean, I can feel it. They are so freaking relieved. Okay, so the center of the hourglass is you. And you are the filter for all of the work that we are about ready to do. And the lower part of the hourglass are all the living, breathing relatives, not just your offspring, but your siblings, your cousins, your nieces, your nephews. And even if you have peers as in a mother that is still alive, but maybe not taking over the role. And so sometimes we have to go, Mom, you're doing a lousy job. I'm stepping in for you. And sometimes we, or they might not want to step aside, and we can do it together. If you have a peer or an equal in your family that you feel is a matriarch, we don't have to push them aside and fight for this position. We can do it with them. 2 matriarchs in a family is absolutely fine. But I have found that if a family is struggling and there's family members that feel lost, that might be because No woman has stepped her foot into the ground and claimed her role as the matriarch. So what I'll be guiding you through is we're going to own the matriarch first. We're going to own it. We're going to do this ownership with authority. You have, you know, this is your destiny. This is you are here because something has called you. You have an inner knowing that this just needs to be done. And so we are going to accept this role. We're going to own it. And then we're going to look above us in the top of this hourglass. And we are going to accept all of the gifts and all of the knowledge and all of just everything that they want to give us. We are now, as a matriarch, going to become the keeper of the knowledge of our ancestors. Then we're going to look down below us, and as the matriarch, and when I say below us, just visualizing the hourglass, we're going to look at all of our living, breathing relatives, and we're going to scan them, and we're going to see who's suffering, who's flaying, who's flopping around like fish out of water. And we are going to claim the matriarch. We're going to step in front of him energetically, and we're going to say, I am now the matriarch of this family. That gives me the authority to remove from you that which is no longer serving you. I pull out of you this ancestral trauma that is so obviously causing your addiction, causing your suffering, causing your illness, causing your whatever. And you'll see it, and you're just going to literally start pulling it out and sending it back to the team above you for wherever it came from. And I guarantee you they're up there saying, give it to me, because now that I'm on the other side, I can deal with it, and I didn't mean to pass it on. So give it to me, and it is my drama, my karma. Let me take care of it myself, clear it out of the ancestors. So we're going to be clearing it out of them and sending it back where it came from. And then once we do that, since we are the keeper of our ancestors' wisdom now, their knowledge, their lessons learned without their baggage, we're going to make that perfectly clear. We are going to share their wisdom with whomever below us needs it. We're just going to share it. We're going to scan those people, and we're just going to give them the wisdom. And you might not even know what you're passing on, but you're the center of that hourglass. So that ancestor that knows what that living relative needs, it'll go through you to them. Okay, are there any questions before we start? Yes, Deborah.
Can this be for step families too?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When we claim the matriarch of our family, we're claiming all of it. For anyone who's been adopted, for step family, for anyone we think of as family, we are the matriarch. And you know, I use this for people with COVID. So like I remember when COVID was coming and settling in a family and people were panicking, I would go to these people that have done the ritual with me, and I would say, you are the matriarch. Energetically insert yourself between you, your loved one, and the disease, and look at the disease and like, not on my watch. I am the matriarch of this family, and I tell you to back the F up. Get the F out of here, not on my watch. So that's sort of how I have people utilize this ritual afterwards, is inserting themselves energetically into a place. So Deborah, absolutely with step members. If they're struggling, they don't have a matriarch. Because I guarantee you with the women who have claimed the matriarchal role, it just seems like everyone feels just a little bit more secure in their own skin. And this also goes, by the way, with the patriarch. the patriarchy, meaning the father, the head male. I've done this ritual with men and you know, the beautiful, the healthy patriarch. And when we do this ritual, it is so powerful. And I helped guide my brother through it from my own family, and I could feel within myself the shift of safety. So it goes both ways, but it seems like it's the matriarch that needs to be claimed more than anything else right now. Okay, any other questions before we start? Okay, so the first step that we will do, and I need everyone's camera on, but if you feel uncomfortable looking at yourself or at other people, I recommend that you just do the speaker mode so you just see me, but that's up to you to do that. Sometimes people like to stand up because they're going to be planting their feet into the ground, or you can do it sitting down. It is an energetic powerhouse. It is, you know, so if you want to sit, let's have our back straight and feet planted on the ground and your shoulders back. And I just want your chest wall open. Or you can stand up like you are of authority and of power. If you need to bring in the sword of Sophia, if you want to visualize the staff, whatever tools, they can be energetic or real. But basically, it is almost instantaneous. It can be that fast, but I'm going to walk you through the powerful ritual. And I ask, though, that out loud, you're all on mute, that you claim it out loud. All right, so let's either stand or sit here. Your feet are on the ground, your shoulders are back, your chest wall is open. And I just want you to start with a growl, just because this feeling of, it just sort of loosens everything out. You know, because it's just like, I just, this authority, this feeling like this roar that is building this power, this, maybe it's a dragon energy in you, maybe it's a lion energy in you, just this, whatever symbol might come to you, bring that symbol in. And I just want you to begin to feel this anchoring to the mother herself. Just feel this anchoring with authority. I mean, this isn't anger, but this is power. But this isn't power over, as Sue says. This is power with. Power being fed by Gaia herself, by Mother herself. Just feel the it's a weight without being heavy. Breathing into it. And with authority declare, I am the matriarch. I am the matriarch. Oh, I am the matriarch. Feel the vibration throughout your entire body. I am the matriarch. With authority given to me by those who have come before me, I accept this role and this energetic responsibility as the matriarch. I am the matriarch. I am the matriarch. And so feel that, just own it, feel it from your toes to the top of your head, filling your chest. And now feel the celebration of those that have come before you. and visualizing the top of that hourglass. There they are. Can you feel them celebrating you? There they are with the torch of the matriarch. They have passed it on to you. Some of them are like, thank God. Woo, sister, let's do this. Others are like, we are here to support you. Just feel them arrive. Feel them in attendance, if you will. They have been begging you to do this, and now it's come. So now as we look down, just sort of visualize the bottom of this hourglass. And you can start with your immediate family, with any siblings, with your own children. Just visualize your immediate offspring. And look for their suffering. And if you want to extend it out as well, if you want to go out to nieces and nephews, siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles, even those who are still living, just scan your family, step, adopted, just scan them and see where they're suffering. And then when you see them one at a time, it'll present itself to you. You just sort of go down and you say, I am the matriarch and I have the authority to remove this. Will you allow me to take this from you? And take it from them and just pull it through you and give it back to where it came from. So just actually physically see yourself pulling it out of them. Pulling it out of them and giving it. So take the time to just scan and remove any ancestral trauma and give it back to where it came from. Any addictions, any illnesses, especially genetic, pulling it out of them, pulling it out of them. Let's just do this for a few more minutes. And as you're doing this, continue to claim in front of those, especially those who are not willing to release and let go or give to you, with authority, declare, I am the matriarch. You will give this to me. It is not serving you. It is not serving you. Give it to me, my child, my loved one, my sister, my brother, my cousin, my niece, my nephew. Let me help you, support you. I am the matriarch. And if there is anything within you, any ancestral trauma within you, remove it and send it back. Remove from you that which no longer serves your purpose, your strength, your power, and send it back from where it came. And visualize your ancestors gladly accepting all of this from every single one of their living, breathing relatives, gladly taking back. They didn't mean to pass this on. They can deal with it now. And they're so grateful to receive the harm that they've done, not intention. Now come back to center. Again, visualizing yourself as the center of this hourglass. You have your cleared, cleansed, anchored in relatives below you, and you have these beautiful elders, ancestors above you, who are now packing up their backpacks, packing up their bags, like, okay, here's my crap. I got it all back. I can go deal with it myself now. Finally, I can deal with my own karma. It wasn't yours to deal with. But now, with this knowing within you and this huge sense of pride, receive within yourself their gifts and feel them come to you. Feel their gifts arrive, their knowledge, their strength, lessons learned. Feel it arrive. It's extraordinary. And you can carry it all. None of their baggage is coming with it. It is just their love, just their enthusiasm, lessons learned, wisdom, knowledge through the ages. Feel it arrive and just accept this gift, knowing that you are now the keeper of this wisdom, the keeper of this knowledge, and you might not even know what it is yet until it is called upon, and then there it will be. But now you are, and you have received this tremendous honor. How extraordinary is it to be their trusted one? It feels amazing. What a calling. What a gift. And now we look below us at the bottom of this hourglass to all of our loved ones that are living and breathing. And those that we pulled crap out of, we just look and we scan and we deliver. We deliver them the gift of wisdom, a little bit of this knowledge, this intelligence, this lessons learned. You might not even know what you're passing on, but from your elders, through you to them. So for example, you might have pulled addiction out of a loved one. Bring to them the healing that is necessary. If you pulled an illness, bring to them the healing, the lessons learned. Those who have dealt with trauma, bring to them the lessons learned from the elders. So take a few moments to just share and spread this knowledge to the loved ones that are living and breathing on this planet right now. To sharing the magic. And maybe as you gift them this, there's a hug, there's an acceptance, there's their own welcoming to their new way of being. This bond of this glorious family you are now creating as a matriarch. Sharing this wisdom. Delivering the knowledge. Offering the lessons learned. Knowing that in this gifting, these individuals feel the love and the lineage. They are no longer alone if they felt it prior. You are their link to all that has come before them. And as we come back to center, and you find yourself sitting in the power and the authority of your own space, in your own house, in your own body, give gratitude and thanks to those women who have come before you. Thank them for this honor of using you to reach them, to reach those living, breathing relatives. What an honor. What a blessing. Doing another quick scan of your loved ones that are living. Just remind them that they are safe. Why are they safe? One more time we say, because I am the matriarch. Say it out loud if you can. I am the matriarch. One more time. I am the matriarch. Thank you to the women who have come before me. And so it is. And so it's done. And so I am. And I know that Alexandra and Andrea came on. I didn't see when you came on. So if you guys want to stay on after the call, I can walk you through the beginning of the ritual. Or if you were here during the beginning of the ritual, that's good. So I'm absolutely willing to support you too through the part that you may have missed. I don't know what you did. are there any comments? Would anyone like to share? I would love to know what this is like. And before we do leave, I want to offer suggestions. So don't let me leave without offering suggestions. Okay, a little bit of a final follow-up, but I'd like people to share beforehand. And because I think it's really important to share so we can hold space and help anchor in the energy of what that might be like. And of course, if you have any questions, please ask. So who would like to go first? Sue.
Thank you, Cinda. That was just awesome. And I was at the top of my hourglass is the starseed mothers, and then the ancient mothers, and all the way down generation by generation to me. And I took the torch to be the matriarch. I was going through family members to pull out illnesses and addiction and trauma, lots of trauma, lots of trauma, lots of trauma. And I came to my sister and she popped in, just out of body, popped in and said, well, I'm a matriarch too. And it was like, yeah, we are. We're the matriarchs together for our family. Both of us equally. We're sharing the power. And then I thought of my other sister, and that was totally different. So I wrapped her in a bubble and I turned her over to the starseed mothers and the ancient mothers and said, I don't know what to do. I've done everything I could think of over the last 20, 30 years. I have no idea how to help her. So I am giving her to you to heal. And everyone else, I would go, oops, I forgot to ask permission. And it was like, there's always, yes, 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 yes. And it just felt so good to pull all of that stuff out of them. And then turn it all over to the realm of spirit to dissolve, to neutralize, to disintegrate, all that trauma. And then return to earth as blessings. So it was an awesome ritual ceremony process. Thank you.
Oh, I love it. What a beautiful story. Thank you. I love how your sister popped up. Anyone else want to share? Yeah.
She's got a great sister, by the way. For me, Cinda, it was such a confirmation of so many times when we worked together. It's like, yeah. So for me, it was like such a confirmation of what's been really tugging at me as next for into the community, and how do we deepen our relationships, and what might be in the way of it. So this was such a wonderful foundational piece that just like laid it out in ways that I have been seeing it, and how you present is always magnificent. So thank you, Cinda.
Beautiful. Thank you. Carol.
So this felt absolutely real. I had a picture of my parents' wedding, which had all the matriarchs that I knew. And then I pictured them kind of just being closest to me, and then all the others that they had accepted the torch from above them, but didn't spend much time thinking about who that was. However, at the end, when you had us go back and scan again, because my own children's fathers from a completely different culture, I realized that, I mean, I didn't think about it, but his mother and that line also popped in. And I just asked mine to extend a hand over there, so that my children's could benefit from all of that, in literally tribal African knowledge that they didn't get through my line. And probably clearing the trauma from that side as well. And then I also, right at the end, had a good friend's mother pop into my hourglass. She passed away just a year ago. And so I realized then that her daughter was also part of, like, a sister. So there was just a lot of faces, and what I found mostly that I was clearing was depression. There have been suicides on both sides of my family. And so I found that I was clearing things from people who are already gone. So thank you. It was, like I said, very real. And I don't want to just say powerful because it sounds cliche, but it was.
I appreciate the fact that you brought in your daughter's father's family. And I'm sorry that I didn't bring that in as well. I sort of automatically just include all of those that have come before us. But when we are trying to clear and cleanse and take care of our adult children, we need to remember that there is a whole other lineage that isn't related to us, that is, and I have found, this isn't the first time I have forgotten to do that. I have done it in others, but they always present themselves. So they do, they consistently present themselves. It's like, you can't do this without us. And so, I mean, like even Sue having people pop in, I just have noticed in this ritual that I might just be guiding, but once we have given, each individual person is given permission, all the right people show up. All the right spirits show up. They, you know, we might not even know that they're there, but I am trusting that they are. I am trusting that the powerful female figures that have come before us that want their shit back and be responsible for it are showing up like, give it to me. Give it to me. I can handle it now. So I'm so grateful you brought that up. Thank you. Anyone else?
For me, it felt like I was in a trance getting a blood transfusion. And it was just pumping up my system, my energy system, and my body. So I will go back with the recording and do it again, coming from a place where I feel like I now have the resources to do it. Because I could only be in the place right now to receive, and not having children, but feeling the responsibility and desiring the type of connectedness and communication that we currently don't have in family. This was really helpful. So thank you.
You know, I think it's, I think you bring up a really good point of it, because I don't know people's history, so I don't know who have offspring and who doesn't, but there is still such a need for us to claim the matriarch within ourselves, and to be, because who knows where our own mothering, in quotes, is going to be needed. And whether it's with animals, whether it's with plants, whether it's with the earth itself, whether it's with peers, friends, extended family, I mean, who knows? So when we claim it for ourselves and just receive, like you said, and know that now we can walk out into the world and with authority insert ourselves into some place where it's needed, we know we can do that. We feel the power behind us to do that. So thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, beautiful. Wow, this is fantastic. Anyone else want to share? Deborah.
Cinda, thank you so much for doing this. It's very, very powerful. Before we started and you were describing your friend, that's why you created it in the first place. It totally describes a friend of mine and her relationship with her kids. And I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what's going on. And she's tried things for many, many years. And I'm like, this will do it. I mean, it was like, I got it. As you were describing it, I mean, I got the depth of it. But then when I did it, it was very, very powerful. And what was interesting for me with a lot of stepchildren, it was like some of their mothers have departed, some of them haven't. And it was very interesting to watch that one going on. And then I got to one of them whose father is still alive, but he has decided to become a she. And I just saw all the energies, and I saw, I mean, how powerful this is, but how powerful it's going to be to do the patriarch part too for everybody. I mean, it was like, oh my God, this is only half of it. And I could just see this stuff inside this one child. And it was like, oh, wow, this is so powerful. So thank you very much.
Yeah, it is. If you want me to tell a story about when I had my brother claim it, and his insecurities around it, because he's not spiritual like I am. He's just like, whatever, sis. Okay, I'll share the story, because there was such power when he finally decided to do it, that I felt the shift in a totally different state. I could tell the minute he did it. I mean, I gave him the authority. I didn't walk him through it. I just told him, walk away. And then I felt the shift the next day. And I went, oh, he just did it, because I felt so safe. And so, especially if there's a gender shift or change, there could be a lot of power in this sort of ritual for that. Yeah, anyone else? I'm putting your little stars next to your name so I know who shared and who hasn't. You don't have to share. Arlie, do you want to share? You don't have to. Or Audrey, okay. Audrey.
You know, we did this privately in the summer. And I came from a different place of accepting this than I did today. I have so much more peace and allowance of myself becoming the matriarch now, other than the force of I need to be the matriarch. It's just a deeper acceptance of, oh, I am the matriarch and I'm accepting this, and you all can come to me now. Whereas there was a different resistance months ago. And now it's kind of like, okay, it's a different flow. It felt different for me today, Cinda. There was less rage. And interestingly, my brother who passed came in and said, and don't forget my wife. And I thought that was really interesting. So
did he want you to pull from her, or did he want you to include her as a matriarch? What do you think he meant?
I've always looked at her as a divine feminine. And I saw where she's living in the field, and she's very isolated and alone. So to tend to her grief is what I'm getting from it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So out of love, this man's desire out of love for his wife, your brother is passed then?
Yes. Yes.
He is saying, don't forget to include her in the circle of healing. Oh, I love that. Yeah. What a beautiful man.
Yeah. So thank you.
Anyone else like to share?
Well, I will just say I was driving.
Andrea.
Hello. I was driving and I wasn't able to hop on until about 2:35. Job went a little later. So I just came in at the point where they were talking about addictions and stuff. So I just sort of, hopped on board and figure, okay, I'm not a mother either, but I am the Queen of Heart as a destiny card, which is like a loving mother. So I just sort of just went in there and played, and can't hurt, right? Called in the grandmothers and the ancestors, and yeah, felt great. Thank you so much. I'm glad I got to hop in for at least some of it. And I'm at the studio, so I'm going to be off camera, but I just wanted to say hello and thank you so much.
It's so good to see your face.
You too. You
Oh.
too.
So, how to use this and what to do with it. So let me first share this story about my brother, because even though it was for him claiming the patriarch after my dad died, the energy is still, it still could be the same for us. But it was after my father died, and he was such a dynamic role in our house, in our family. And I have 3 other siblings, 2 step siblings, and there's 11 grandkids, you know. So I called my brother and I was just like, you need to claim the patriarch. You need to anchor in the energy that dad took with him when he died. And my brother was like, well, the patriarch, it's all so scary now. I don't want to do it. And I said, you still need to do it. You need to do it, and you need to do it with love and authority. You don't have to be a jackass. You don't have to be like this powerhouse and power over. It's just do it with love. And, you know, like I said, he's not spiritual. So I was sort of taking a risk having this conversation with him. And I'm the oldest of the 4 of us, and he's the next one younger. And he's like, sis, I don't know. And I said, and then it occurred to me for him to make it easier, because he is such a freaking wizard. And we all know men like this that are just like these wizards, these sorcerers, he's magic beyond all things. And I said, just take your staff, your energetic staff, and slam it into the ground and visualize all the relatives tied to kite strings, tied to this staff. And you're standing there looking at the staff with all of these kite strings and all these kites, and every single kite is a member of the family. And so all you need to do is watch that kite every now and then and see when one starts to sink. See when one doesn't have wind under its wings anymore. And all I need you to do, Jeff, is walk up and click its thread, you know, just tap it and say, come on now, we got you. You're okay. You're okay. Until the wind gets under its wings again and it's flying freely. I said, that's all I need from you, is to just monitor the family and be aware when someone's struggling, and then just come up and, you know, blow on it, tap it, talk to it, you know, put some wind under it till it rises on its own and is flying again. And he said, okay, I can do that. I like the idea of making it outside of me. I like the idea of watching it and having it be a visual versus being responsible for all of it internally. And like I said, the next day I was just doing my own thing. And then all of a sudden, bam, there was this settling in my world that I hadn't experienced since my dad had died. There was just this glorious settling. And in that moment, I knew that Jeff had claimed his role. And I guarantee you, he didn't do ritual around it. I guarantee you, he didn't beat a drum. I guarantee you, he just took a risk and did what he did in his own way which isn't spiritual, but very magical anyway. And it mattered, and I felt it. And I see the stability in our family because of it. Now, I've claimed the matriarch for my own family, but my mother is still alive. And her older sister is still alive. And her older sister is the frickin' matriarch of our family. And so I'm like a matriarch in training under her. But I've claimed it for my family. And I even let my mom know. I said, Mom, how do you feel about this? Because I don't want to step on your toes. And she goes, oh, honey, take it. It's all yours. It's all yours. But I have so much respect for my Aunt Pat and for the authority in which she anchors in this family. So I claim the matriarch for my immediate family, for my siblings, for my nieces, nephews, for my own children, for my future grandchildren. I'm doing that. And then knowing that this other extension is still there, still anchoring in the rest of us. So how do you use this? If you are aware that anyone in your family is struggling, if you are aware of a loved one, if you are aware, if you are even just watching the news and it is something that you care about so deeply, or you see children are suffering, or you see other women, or whatever moves you to your core, is you sit there and you go, oh, this is not right. I have a knowing that this is not right. Remember, you are the keeper of your ancestral knowledge now. You are the keeper. So something in you knows what to do about that. Whether it's, you might not even know which relative has gone through something different or similar, excuse me. You just go, I know. So you close your eyes in a heartbeat and you insert yourself into that situation. And what I do, it's like, I'm the matriarch here. I am the matriarch, like if it's my child, especially if it's my sibling, a niece, a nephew, whatever. And let's just say it's something on television you're watching, it's something that's moving you to your core. You inject yourself, insert yourself, and you're like, not on my watch. I am the matriarch. I declare that first. I am the matriarch. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Back the fuck up. Back up. Back up. And sometimes I visualize myself just walking towards them. There's no violence. It's just back up. Back up. Not on my watch. Not on my watch. Until it's gone. Then I go about. I do that with illness. I did that a lot with COVID when we were all really afraid of it. It's yeah. If there's any wrongdoing between two people and one of those people, you just insert yourself energetically between the two, look at the perpetrator and back up. I am the matriarch, not on my watch. Not on my watch. Any other questions? I have found that after we do this ritual, the next day, you might see things to validate. You might get phone calls from people in your family you haven't heard from in a long time. Things that might be said like, I don't know why, but I just started thinking of you. You might hear stories of success. There might be people that you pulled stuff out of and now they don't know who they are without that. And so there might be a moment where they pull it back and they might have a relapse. It might actually be worse than it was before. And then you just insert yourself into that place and space and you're like, you don't need to be afraid. Give it to me. Give it to me so I can give it to them. Yes, Sue.
Oh my gosh, while you were talking about your brother, I was thinking, we don't have a strong man in my family. And while I was claiming me as a matriarch, I went to my brother and I wasn't allowed my brother and his whole family couldn't touch them. So I gave the whole family to whoever knows how to do what needs to be done and just let it go. So, and then I was thinking, well, we don't have a patriarch. And I was thinking, well, the only one who, oh, it's my son. He's supposed to be the patriarch. And he's going, no, the women have been strong in my life, all my life. I'm married to a very strong wife. I got a very strong mom. No. And I said, well, maybe there's someone who could help you own your strength. And Merlin popped in, and my son claimed him immediately and claimed his power. I've never seen anything like that. I have always wondered, what is it going to take for my son to claim his power? Because I know he's very powerful. And I know he's kind of like he's living in a closet or something. It's all geared down. And I know his son will be very powerful. He was a Yoda at 3. So for him, and it was just faster than a blink of the eye, Merlin is the power my son can trust and learn from and lean on. And it was just done. Thank you. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Well, it sounds like your son was having the same fear or concern that my brother has. And it's like, I don't want to be what I feel a powerful patriarch is, which is power over, right? And they don't want that. They want to be these generous beings of support and love. And as we've learned from Sharon through the Heart Center, and and so them to claim the patriarchal role is not about them claiming power over and not about them becoming assholes. It is about them just anchoring in their own authority and their own power. And how perfect that it's Merlin. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. That is awesome.
I just wanted to say too that that what is happening as women step into their correct position of being the designer of families, of cultures, of life. That's our assignment, and to hold it and say, not on my watch, we get that in place. It's absolutely time for the patriarchal to be activated in the way it was intended. And so your model, Cinda, of the kites, I thought was so perfect, because it is about being connected from the heart. What is the heart? It's the air and the kites, and it's not telling anyone what to do, but to flow that heart energy as wind under the wings. I thought it was a perfect model. And so, Stu, kudos to you. I see that that's something that I'm going to be presenting to my son, because we don't have a patriarch in my family either, but we will, guaranteed, by tomorrow.
Yeah, it is. You need to know, for me to have this conversation with my brother, I mean, he knows I'm a little bit out there, but he is not at all. And, but he loves me. And he knew he had to hear what I had to say, even though he was probably rolling his eyes at me, just like, oh God. But he was very respectful and he listened. But then I knew he heard me, because I felt it. And I felt it the next day. And he's been he has truly stepped into the role. I am so grateful. So yeah, I have also worked with women whose husbands have died and their children are still young, and they have had to claim both roles. And so we have done ritual around her claiming the matriarch as well as the patriarch for her immediate family, to anchor in both sides. And then we sort of have talked about, when her son gets older, that should be a conversation that she has with him. to anchor that in, especially if he becomes a father. So, any other comments, questions? If any of you would like to talk to me or, you know, work through this or a different version of this, whatever, offline, just the two of this, I'll make myself completely available for the 1 to 12, 1 to, how many of us are there? 1, 2, 3, 12. Wow. So I'm